All right, time for a weekly outlook. Well, back into the same range we were talking about for like the last, I don't know, probably 2 months at this point. Right, the range in question is this multi-week balance here. And I want to almost call it like a multi-month balance at this point. Um, right, obviously got the breakout. This retest of it failed to go higher, traded back, saw the rotation lower, got a bid, made another attempt last week at the beginning of last week, which failed, and saw another rotation back down to that shelf. Really like the one of the high volume nodes within this, um, right, and failed to go lower, and getting a rotation back up. That we're still gonna be working with this range, really, right? Obviously, like there's gonna be failures to both sides. So question for this week is can buyers get back above this, start establishing some value, or just make it quick through this, establish value at higher prices and keep going? Or does this simply just back test some, maybe, I don't know, a set of singles or some supply up here, and then get the full rotation back down to maybe take out these poor lows, right? So this both applies to ES and NQ. Similar situation here. They're taking turns having like relative strength, relative weakness. But we do have some really, really nice levels to work off of to start the week. You'll see it the instant I go to the TPO or the volume profile on the weekly. So we'll do that now. Right. So this was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. To start the week, tried to establish prices acceptance above the prior week's range, but failed to do so. Traded back into value and got the traversal, right? And then sellers clearly just failed to go lower. Thursday and Friday's values completely overlapping, right? Once you started the sell-off on Monday after that failed opening drive, actually no, you kind of just sold off the open. Completely overlapping, right? Thursday and Friday. So that's going to be our focus this week to start the week, right? What do we do up against this? Is this simply a short covering rally, and are we going to find sellers at higher prices, or and then head back lower? In that case, like as soon as we start trading back into this, I think it becomes a big issue, right? As soon as we start trading back into, at this point, we'll just call it Friday's range, right? Thursday and Friday's value, right? Once we start doing that, I think it becomes an issue, and this move down is going to be rather quick. If that's not the case, and we start holding above Friday's highs and then above potentially the shelf on the composite at 340, 360, I think it looks good to go a lot higher. I mean, might struggle up into this, but I think it just keeps going. So, still one time framing down on the daily. I'd put sellers. Sellers definitely have the upper hand based off of what we've been doing the last couple of weeks. I struggle to see continued upside, stalled out at highs. Got a couple of retests that failed, right? Last week, another retest, a big retest that failed. So we'll see if buyers can flip that around this week. But otherwise, like, levels remain for the most part the same. The bigger picture idea still remains the same. Just how can we work up against what we saw last week to catch that bigger move, right? We already caught a really, really nice long tonight, right? We were talking about that test of this 25.010s to 40s on Friday, really the end of the day. I was hoping for it because I would have been swing long up against it. But so we put some bids as soon as we opened, traded back into them, filled on most of them, and took some scales into 240 and 330. So, or actually most of it into 330. So we'll see if we add to the position or initiate a new core up above these levels at the start of RTH on Monday. If not, like, I have no need to like press anything with size. I've already caught a decent chunk on some decent size, so we'll see what happens, and we'll see what happens remainder of the week. But yep, moral of the story, like, what do we do up against value, right? So Thursday and Friday's value, first off, what do we do up against that? And then it's a matter of what do we do up against this composite profile, right? And it's simply just going to be like whoever takes control of this, I think, is going to see the extremes of this multi-week balance back here. So it'd be down to these October lows or back up to last week's highs and some. Okay, so pretty simple. Actually, really, really simple. And I'll try to keep you guys updated throughout the week.